Detective Clive Harris has been called one of the most accomplished detectives of his generation. Detective, you made a discovery that conflicted with the agreed-upon narrative.
Correct. If we don't stop this now and expose the truth, we can not only forgive our republic and our freedom, because so long as you're connected to power, you can get away with anything.
The man who is heading the investigation into the shooting that Donald Trump Jr. was involved in is doing a cover-up.
He directed the cover-up, yes. And in fact, everyone was paid off.
I just want to look at the facts, and so far, very few facts have been presented. I'm going to repeat this phrase, I feel like, a lot. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
When I first saw this, I was moved. I was like, wait. Can it be possible these police officers, these Secret Service agents, these men I trusted with my life and was proud to call my brothers, are now doing a cover-up for Donald Trump Jr. and are making millions of dollars to keep quiet about what happened at the White Stag Ranch?
To hear of this event from Detective Harris hurt me a bit inside because I had always trusted my government to do what's right. This is such a gross abdication of justice. I feel that I have to take things into my own hands and expose the truth. Let's take a deep dive into what happened at White Stag Ranch in February of 2019. The day is February 12th, 2019, and it's a frigid 29 degrees outside. Donald Trump Jr. and his friend Mark Wilkins were steamer duck hunting. Trump and Wilkins shot a covey of the ducks above. While Wilkins was searching for downed birds, Donald Trump Jr. walked towards another covey about 100 yards away. Wilkins, unknowingly, approached within 30 or 40 yards of the shooters, at which point a single bird flew up, around, and behind Trump in the direction of Wilkins. Trump shot at the bird and hit Wilkins. Can you state your name and what you do at the ranch for the camera, please?
Yes, my name is Hester Moore, and I'm a ranch hand at White Stag Ranch.
Hester, if it's not too much, could you tell us about what happened at work on February 12th, 2019?
Donald Trump Jr. and Mark Wilkins came to White Stag Ranch to go duck hunting. Both of them, including the Secret Service, were wearing orange hunting vests, and I think both men had a few beers at lunch. I went to go let the horses out, who were spooked by the Remingtons being shot, when I saw the Secret Service running towards the hunters. I took off running, thinking that they had hit one of our animals.
Then what happened?
Mark was on the ground screaming that he had been shot.
Did you see where he was shot?
Yes, pellets had hit him in the right cheek, his chest, and neck. It wasn't long before he was airlifted to a local hospital.
What did Donald Trump Jr. do after the shooting?
He just kept pacing back and forth about his Twitter ban, and how he couldn't live without Twitter.
Wait, that happened in July of 2020. My facts aren't lining up. Oh no! Why am I panicking? I made all of this up. Yeah, I made all of this up.
I'm sure they'd think again if they had a friend like Ben.
The first opening sequence is stolen straight from Plandemic, which is fake propaganda insisting that coronavirus is fake. White Stag Ranch is from a farm name generator, Detective Clive Harris and Hester Moore. Well, that's me with a voice changer, one of which is labeled Santa Claus. Mark Wilkins, Donald Trump's friend, he's real, but he's a former pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates and not a friend of Donald Trump Jr. who went hunting for steamer ducks. Speaking of steamer ducks, they're a flightless bird that are found exclusively in South America. This whole shooting incident happened though, but it wasn't with Donald Trump Jr., it was Vice President Dick Cheney. So you're probably wondering, Ben, why would you go out of your way to make me watch a fake documentary about Donald Trump Jr. killing a man? Well, Donald Trump Jr. was recently on Tucker Carlson talking about his Twitter suspension, in which he said that it's not up to social media companies to determine what's fact and what's not. Under Trump's logic, if I was a bad person, I could have actually made this real documentary and have it spread on YouTube, Facebook, Reddit, and Twitter. Now that wouldn't have been very fair to Donald Trump Jr. But without these companies taking action to stop misinformation, it would spread and a portion of the population would think that he actually killed a man. Me doing this isn't the first time someone has made up a fake documentary because they were bored. YouTube is filled with them. Usually these revolve around conspiracy theories or people with failed political agendas, so they have to lie in order for people to get on board with them. Anyone with a little knowledge of video editing software can make a video full of absolute lunacy. But the shenanigans don't stop on YouTube, as exhibited by Donald Trump Jr. It's widespread on Twitter and Facebook too. 60% of Americans share articles without actually reading it. People just headline surf until they find one that confirms with their own bias. This allows misinformation to spread so easily. For Donald Trump Jr. to share a video claiming that masks don't work and that there is a cure for coronavirus is incredibly reckless, especially since his father has been telling people to wear a mask because COVID-19 is disproportionately killing his own voters. This is not stifling free speech as Donald Trump Jr. claims. We know that masks work, and that the doctor he shared on his Twitter account is lying. Taking down misinformation is a public good. This also isn't a slippery slope. If Twitter and Facebook start suppressing Hong Kong protests and protests against violent regimes, then that is a problem. But right now, they're censoring Trump because his internal monologue is the sound a microwave makes. We are in a different era of communication now. In 1985, I could write some ludicrous nonsense like, there's gonna be a pandemic that's gonna kill a lot of Americans because Donald Trump is president. And no one would really see it. In order for it to get spread to the masses, a book company would either have to publish it, a newspaper would have to run with it, or the television news would have to verify it and approve it. Now, anyone can say anything and millions of people can see it. This is one of the greatest things about the internet, and it's also one of the worst things. As the internet becomes more and more part of our daily lives, we will need a system in place to stop misinformation that doesn't infringe on our ability to freely express ourselves. What Twitter and Facebook are doing is working, but we'll need a better system. The rules to the game have been the same for over 200 years, but the game has now changed with the internet.